What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Miss Teen Crypto Show. I'm your host, Randi Hipper, here on a lovely day with a very special guest. But before we get into the guest, make sure you guys are here. You're feeling the zesty vibes. You smash these likes, subscribe, share this stream out with friends so more people know about what's going on with the Bitcoin charts, where we're headed next, and to learn the backstory of our great guests. So thank you again for you guys coming. Thank you for chilling. Let's talk to our zesty guest today, Frankie Candles. Welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm super happy to be here. I know my community has been asking for this, so I'm super pumped to be here. Thank you for having me.
Of course, this is going to be great. I know everyone in the chat is mad hype. The Candle Mafia is here with the Zesty fam. It's just an explosion of just New York pop. And I'm very excited to get to know you because I know a lot of people see Frankie Candles out there, maybe on the BitBoy show on your own YouTube channel doing the charts all day. But who is Frankie Candles? And that is what we are here to find out. So Frankie, I want to learn more about you. What were you doing when you were like my age, 18, 19, 20 years old? What did you think your life was going to look like?
Yeah, I love this question because, it's like the most interesting stuff, right? Because everybody has a life. Nobody knows what their life's going to turn into until they get there. So yeah, I grew up on Long Island in New York, obviously, shout out to New York. But yeah, I grew up on Long Island and, I guess when I was 18, I was graduating high school, going into college. I went to school for video production.
Oh.
But my interest in technical analysis, trading, stocks, before I even ever knew what crypto was, I was always interested in technical analysis specifically. And I think the reason for that is, the earliest I can really think back to, it's not like I was like a little kid doing it, but when I was a junior in high school, I'll never forget, I downloaded my first stock market simulator, and it was basically like a demo account where you could just mess around and trade with fake money, and I had no idea what I was doing, obviously, but that was kind of where my sparked my interest. I think seeing movies where stockbrokers and traders were always these really rich guys was probably very enticing to me. But then I wound up, I played around with stocks a little bit, but, always was more interested in the technical analysis. I wasn't really trading stocks that much actively like I do crypto, but I was really interested in just doing technical analysis, teaching myself about the charts. And then in 2016, 2017 is when I got into crypto, and that was basically the end of it. I just kind of got sucked in. I found out that crypto was 24/7. The market didn't close, and I was absolutely hooked. I made a little bit of money in 2018, or I'm sorry, 2016, 2017, as far as investing, because crypto was new to me. I didn't know what was going to pop, what wasn't. Made a little bit of money on XRP and Litecoin, actually. Shout out to Tom Crown. But
we
yeah,
love Litecoin.
Yeah, Litecoin. Yeah, it's funny. Tom was on blockchain, came in the chat in Blockchain Basement earlier today. We were shouting out Litecoin. But yeah, that was basically my intro into crypto, and then kind of realized hey, now I don't have to wait for I have to wait for the market to open back up. I can sit on my computer all night after work and trade and just practice. And that's really where I got sucked in and started taking trading really seriously. And then yeah, 2020 happened. And that's where I found BitBoy Crypto's channel. And, he really taught me a lot about the actual, the actual technology. And, he taught me a lot, really, BitBoy Crypto, or, Ben, for people who know, taught me a lot during 2020, just more about crypto specifically. And then, yeah, I sent a cold email, and I told them hey, listen, I'm a trader. I love crypto. I'm obsessed. This is my favorite thing. It's my passion. And, I am traditionally, I went to school for video production. I've worked in TV for years. So, I've done that as a day job, and I could probably help you guys out with your YouTube channel. It'd be whatever. Sent that cold email, and TJ called me 5 minutes later and asked me when I can get on a plane to go meet with them. And then the rest is history.
Oh, TJ getting out. Shout out to TJ and Ben. Love them both. Wow. So you've been on a little bit of a journey, and you were looking at stocks and playing with basically paper trading while you were a junior in high school. That's really young. So why were you so enticed with the stock market to begin with? What drew you in there besides the rich guys on TV? Did you look into it and be okay, maybe I could be one of those rich guys on TV?
Yeah, I was kind of, and I'm actually going to use this opportunity. I never talk about this, and I was talking to my mods, Crypto Anon and Crypto Billy. when we were at Bitcoin Miami, and I brought this up, and they were like, "Dude, how come you've never said this?" I never really said this, not for any specific reason. I just never really think of it. My dad actually day trades stocks and has for a very long time. It's not his full-time it's not his full-time job, but I mean, he probably does it equally as much as his full-time job. He owns a business as well. But so I've just always been around it. But it's not like I was sitting next to my dad and he was teaching me how to trade or anything, but he just always did it. And I was just always interested in teaching myself. So maybe maybe it's in my blood. But yeah, I think it was really just I was always had an entrepreneur mindset. I never really wanted to have a full-time job, even though I went to college. Like if I really, if I made the decision myself, I probably wouldn't have gone to college. I would have just pursued, trading or just even a business venture. So I was just always looking for a way to not have to do the traditional thing. And I think I saw trading as a way out of that rat race. And but it takes a very long time, right? It takes a long time, especially me. Like I had very little guidance. Like I said, my dad was a day trader, but I don't even know why. I never really, he was more stocks, right? So like, I
Yeah.
don't know. I never really like, you'd think I would just go to him for questions, but yeah, I don't know. But I was just always interested in it. And I think I did. I think I saw it as a way out of the rat race to not have to, work a 9 to 5, a normal 9 to 5. And then having done that, I really like, I used to work in New York City, commute every single day on the subway, on the train. And it really ingrained in my head, like, dude, you got to figure out a way to not have to do this every day because you cannot do this for the rest of your life. It's not sustainable. So,
Yeah, so you went to college. You did your 4 years. You didn't really want to go. What were you doing right after college? Because I know you mentioned you were in video production for a little while. Where did life take you, even though you were very interested in finance?
So I graduated college, and I was actually really lucky. I had met somebody by the weirdest chance. I have the weirdest stuff happen to me. By the weirdest chance, I had met somebody who was worked in the business. He did commercial like TV commercials and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so I met him, and he kind of mentored me. And I all throughout college, I was actually working in TV throughout college. Kind
Wow.
of, realized how much of a scam, at least for me, college was, because I was on set working in TV and then going to college and realizing that these professors really didn't know what was going on. Like they had no idea.
That's
So
so
I
funny.
yeah, so I just really lucked out. So I worked in TV all throughout college, and then when I graduated college, I continued doing that. I worked in network television after college for a couple years. I also had a side business. I always had a bunch of things going on, but most recently, right before trading, as I stopped working in TV, I had my own video business, but that was kind of split with trading, right? So I was kind of like a full-time video business owner slash trader, and did that for a couple years, and then finally found BitBoy Crypto. And I was like, because always looking for a way to make it full time, right? Like other than just trading, like if I could just have like a stable job in this industry, that'd be great. And then that's when I
Exactly.
found BitBoy Crypto and figured, hey, like I could help you guys make the videos, and then eventually like my trading skills will probably maybe come in handy for you guys. And at the very least, this was not the plan to have my own YouTube channel at all. My plan really was like, maybe I could become their head, work my way up and be their head video guy, and then just not have to hide the charts from my bosses while I was trading during work. It'll be encouraged, instead of like at my other jobs, I'd have to like hide the charts. So I just figured, hey, I could do video. I love video production. Like I could do that and then also trade at work and not get in trouble. And then when they were like, hey, you're the guy, and I was like, no way, like I'd not expected at all. And it just all fell into place, and now I get to do what I love every single day, and I get to do it in front of people on the internet, which is super cool.
That is beautiful. Wow. I really love that. So you were doing trading and a video. You had your own video company. What was that video company? What were you doing?
Yeah, so I did a bunch of different stuff. I would basically, what we focused on was making like marketing videos for businesses. So like if you owned a business, we would basically make like a marketing strategy or a video marketing strategy, and like help people get their their message out on video to get face to face in front of people to build trust.
Yeah.
And then I also did some stuff for TV as well, small things for TV. So it was just it was always random, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it was more like you were just freelance kind of doing your thing
Mhm.
and you just got called for jobs. That's pretty dope. That's pretty dope. So
Yeah.
you were being your own boss. You wanted to be your own bank. You wanted to trade and do your thing. So then it was finally when were you learning about crypto? Because like how did you feel about the charts? Like you've been in stocks your whole life. Your
Mhm.
dad was a day trader. How did you feel about crypto charts compared to like the stock market, even though, obviously there's a big comparison there because it's 24/7 versus 9 to 5.
Yeah, to be honest, I probably I've grown a lot as far as a responsibility standpoint comes with crypto. And really I think all I saw when I first heard about crypto was like, hey, the market doesn't close? What do you mean? So yeah, like so I'm the guy that's up till 2 in the morning trying and I've done it all, right? Like people always ask me like, a lot of people think like, oh, you probably never lose trades. And like I lose trades all the time in my
Everyone
Discord,
does.
my yeah, as part of the game. And but people say like, what's the worst, loss you've ever had or what have you. And I mean, I've done it all. I thought I was a genius in the beginning. I won one big trade. I thought I was a genius. So I tripled down on everything. I wrecked my entire account. I loaded up another
Oh.
account, wrecked that one. I can't tell you how many accounts I blew up trying to use I could put $100 in and use 100x leverage, and then I don't need a ton of money. I'm going to get rich quick, right? I had the same thoughts everybody and their grandma has when it comes to getting rich quick with trading. And to be honest, I say this to my community all the time. I'm a thick-headed Italian, right? So like I gotta touch the hot stove at least 6 or 7 times before I realize like, hey, I'm not gonna touch that again. So I struggled a bit. For me, I struggled with greed a lot. Anytime I was in a green trade, I would just hold that thing and try to milk it for every dollar, and I would wind up wrecking myself a bunch of times. But eventually, you learn from your mistakes and you actually try to fix them. So yeah, people think, oh, this just comes naturally to you. Not at all. I got wrecked for a very long time.
Yeah, you had to get your ego in check. And I feel like that's a really
Hmm.
common thing with everybody because you always hear about those stories. You hear about both sides. Oh my gosh, I just got rich so quick. I put this much in this, and in 24 hours, I became a millionaire. And then you hear the other side where, oh, I bought this and I did this leverage, and then I lost everything. And now my wife is divorcing me. So, like,
Yeah.
you kind of get like both sides of everything. So, I guess you have to humble yourself at some point. So, was crypto the thing that humbled you, or did you get wrecked in the stock market as well?
No. So to be honest, yeah, I like you said, listen, if you don't humble, I tell this to people all the time. Like especially when they win a trade. I'm like, listen, man, celebrate. But do not. I actually just recorded a YouTube short about this, and it was like the top 3 secrets to actually becoming a profitable trader. And it's don't get too high on your wins and don't get too low on your losses, because you're gonna win some trades and you're gonna lose some trades. And when you win a trade, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're a genius. And when you lose a trade, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're a bad trader. You just got to kind of keep it neutral. So yeah, I mean, I would get super high. My big problem was I would get super high on my wins, think I was a genius. And like you said, you have to humble yourself. And if you don't, the market will do it for you. So, like I said, I was, when I was trading stocks, I wasn't as, hardcore into it. It's really cryptos when I really started putting my 10,000 hours in. And so, yeah, when crypto first came around, I was just like, listen, this is open 24/7. It moves way more than stocks. So all I see as a trader is much more opportunity. I don't care if it goes up. I don't care if it goes down. And with leverage, I don't even really care how much it goes up or down. I just need that movement to find an opportunity to make money. So I think that's what I saw in. And once I made some money with XRP, I put some money in, and then it blew. And you realize how quickly things can change. So yeah, it was definitely when I first started looking at stocks versus crypto, I just saw the volatility really, really excited me.
Yeah, and the volatility is here. Especially when you were coming in like 2016, 2017. The ICO phase was high in 2017, and then the bull market happened in 2017. Then 2018, we kind of had that big retrace. Now, how do you feel about the trading that you were looking at back in 2017, 2018 compared to now in this past bull market, which I feel like we might be coming out of? I don't know, not financial advice. Don't get mad at me. Smash these likes. We're almost like 100. Let's go.
Let's go. Smash that like button. But yeah, I would say, wait, what was the question?
How do you feel about the trading that you were doing in like
Hmm,
2016 to 2018 with crypto compared to this past bull market, bear market, which I feel like we might come out of soon?
yeah. So for me, it's really, uh, in 2016, 2017, my knowledge of the space, right? So I kind of separate, kind of like honestly my career, right? At this, but now, and I separate it like technical analysis and trading is, like, I always try to, and I think this is important for people to hear at home. I think sometimes people, see people like us, like influencers on the internet, and I hate that word, but they see people like us on YouTube, and they think that, like, oh, these people are geniuses, these people know everything, they're never wrong. And I'm very transparent. Like, if I had a community member, right, and I think some influencers think like, I'm the best, I don't care about you guys. But if I had someone from my community message me and said, hey, look at this indicator, or hey, look at this strategy, like, I'm looking into that strategy like I would if I found the strategy on my own. Like, I'm always willing to, I think it's really dangerous to become complacent in, like, thinking you know everything, right? And I'm not like that at all. So, I could have someone who's been in crypto for a year and said, hey, check out this strategy. Like, I'm going to look into it.
Yeah.
And for me, in 2016, 2017, my crypto knowledge was very, very like non-existent compared to what it is now. So right now, currently I'm much more informed and educated on the actual asset class of crypto, the technology, where it's going in the future, how it affects, or how like the traditional finance affects crypto, and just how it all works together. I'm much more informed on that now than I was in 2016, 2017. In 2016, 2017, all I saw, I was focused just on the charts. I was focused just on the candles. And, at that point, I was learning about like, what is XRP? Like, I don't even know what XRP does at that point, So I was very new to the space, although I knew exactly what I was looking at on the charts. I wouldn't have known that, if Bitcoin starts dumping, the alts are going to get wrecked, like stuff like that. I was a little less informed on. So I was just kind of very informed on the charts back then, not as informed. I'm more well-rounded now, basically.
Yeah, I understand that. I love your honesty. Like, some people will front and be like, yeah, in this time I was really like doing this, and I knew this and this,
Yeah.
and then this time it's like not that. Like, at least you were honest, and you were like, man, you know what? I was just focused on the charts. I didn't know what the heck I was doing, but now I'm an educated individual, and this is what I'm doing based upon this. Now, I wanted to ask you, well, before I do that, thank you everyone, Tony Taco Berry, for the super chats. I really do appreciate it. Much love to everybody in the chat. We have 100 people here. Let's get 100 likes. Let's share the stream out with friends, because a lot of people need to know about Frankie candles. I feel like a lot of people pay attention to the Bitcoin dominance. And I know you mentioned that really briefly. How do you feel about Bitcoin dominance and how it affects the alts? Do you really feel like there should be a lot of Bitcoin dominance, like let's say over 60%, in order for like alt season to kick in? Also, thank you, Retro Mike, for the 10 memberships.
Yeah. I mean, listen, again, like, looking at dominance, it's actually, I look at dominance, I don't really look at it on the channel that often. But yeah, like it's things like that kind of, right? Like, if you see Bitcoin, like, I was not looking at Bitcoin dominance in 2016, 2017.
Not a lot of people know about it.
Right. And that's the exact type of stuff that I'm talking about that makes the world of difference, right? Like, obviously, it makes a big difference, like a huge advantage to know about all that. Where in 2016, 2017, like, I'm just, okay, XRP chart, I see, I'm looking at a bullish divergence, I see an ascending triangle, like whatever, I'm just looking at the charts. But yeah, like, now all that stuff is taken into account. Something I watch a lot, not just Bitcoin dominance, but the DXY, the stock market, like all these things can give you hints into what Bitcoin is actually going to do. And we do really good on, in my community by checking the DXY, right? Like, if the DXY is looking super bullish on the higher time frames, and Bitcoin has been ripping, you're probably getting pretty close to a top on Bitcoin. So, and then depending on how bullish the DXY looks, you could kind of estimate how big the crash will be on Bitcoin. And that's not even looking at the Bitcoin chart. That's just looking at the DXY. So adding all this stuff together, I mean, it really is, complete game changer.
Yeah, and how do you feel about, the debt ceiling thing that's going on and the money printer potentially going burr? What do you think this could have, like, in terms of the chart? What kind of effect can it have?
Yeah. So for me, to be 100% honest, like, I talk about this all the time as well. And, I am a very, very, very technical trader, right? Like, there's been so many times where I always bring the same example up because it just sticks in my head. There was one time where, I was sitting in a short and I was like recording a video or something. And DZ from Around the Blockchain and NFT Alpha, he came up to me and he goes, dude, did you see the Elon dump? And I'm like, Elon dump. And I was like, first thing in my head was like, I'm in a short. So like, that's a good thing. But I had no idea that, what did Elon do? Why is it dumping? Like I shorted a technical signal, and it just so happened that, Elon tweeted right as I saw that technical signal. And it's like, it's kind of like, show me the charts, I'll tell you the news kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how I handle that stuff. I'll be 100% honest with you. Like when we have FOMC meetings, or when they're raising interest rates, something like that, typically I tell people I usually take the days off, right? Because you're going to likely get volatility in both directions, and it's very unpredictable. So I just sit those days out, right? Like I like to take high probability trades. I don't like to just gamble. So typically I'll sit those days out. But I do take it into account. But again, like if I see a bullish setup on the chart and it's backed up by more than one level of confluence, I have 3 or 4 confirmations, like I'm going to take that trade, again, with the exception of being on an actual FOMC meeting day. But like, if right now, for example, this might not be the case at all, but like right now, if, Bitcoin was looking super bullish, but the macro was looking super bearish, I would take the macro into account, but I'm probably still making decisions based off of the chart. But knowing that the macro might be looking bearish, even though Bitcoin's looking bullish, I'll still act on the charts, but I might be a little tighter on my risk management, right? Because I'm like, if that macro winds up stepping on the bullish TA, I want to be prepared for that. So I might tighten up the risk management a little bit in that situation.
And now that you've been humbled, Frankie, how do you handle risk management?
Well, I think probably the best thing that happened to me, and this isn't going to be the same for everybody else. Like I said, like I'm a thick-headed Italian. I'm a Taurus. I think it's probably why I'm here, right? Because like I wasn't going to have a 9 to 5. Like I was going to have at least a normal 9 to 5, which is funny because now I work way longer than 9 to 5, but I love what I do.
Exactly.
So it feels like I don't, yeah, right. So like, we're content creators. I know, this, like there's no days off. Like I'm laying in bed, and even if I'm laying in bed, like falling asleep, scrolling on TikTok, whatever it is, usually I'm looking at the charts. But it's always on your head, right? Like, oh, let me check my channel. Let me see if I'm getting subs, or whatever it is. You're thinking of the next script you're going to do, or what you're going to talk about on your live stream. It's never ending, but it's super enjoyable because we love what we do. But I will say this, like I said, I'm a thick-headed Italian, and I think the biggest lesson I had in risk management was honestly getting so wrecked for so long. And it was just like, I'm doing something wrong. Like, why am I like, what is it? I think I was at Einstein that said, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing, expecting a different result.
Yes.
For me, I had to get the same result for a long time, but eventually I was like, you know what? Maybe I should change something. Let me actually try using whatever these stop losses that people are talking about. But yeah, so I think one of the best things was that I got wrecked for so long that eventually you just, have no choice but to learn from your mistakes. But for me, it really comes down to, once you start using risk management, you can actually realize that as long as your wins are bigger than your losses, it's like I used to see, even if I got stopped out for a small loss, let's, for example, say I put $100 on a trade, just for easy math, put $100 on a trade, and I'm risking $10 of that trade, right? If you're and then like, so I'm risking $10 on each trade, right? And I lose 3 trades in a row. I lose $30 for losing 3 trades, right? So but I used to think that getting stopped out, seeing that red trade was a loss to me, and I got emotional about it. I'm like, why am I losing the trade? But then I realized, if you stack up a bunch of red trades and they're small losses, and then, you have small loss, small loss, small loss, big win, small loss, big win, and then you have 10 more small losses, those 3 or 4 big wins are going to make up for those small losses. So once you start actually incorporating risk management into your strategy, and you truly understand that a red trade is not necessarily a bad thing, but just part of the process, I think that's really what clicked for me.
Absolutely. And everyone will tell you, every real trader will tell you that you can't win everything. Everything's all about probability. You could just look at the levels and see what maybe could happen based upon those levels and what you know. And I really feel like it would be helpful if you could explain, Frankie, how, when you were getting into charts, what were you first learning about? What kind of, like, were you looking at candle patterns? Were you looking at certain indicators? What were you using to kind of like get your foundational knowledge base for trading?
Yeah. So this is probably going to be really important for anybody watching right now that wants to get into trading, because I did a lot of things that probably wasted a lot of time, right? And I think it's unavoidable for someone who doesn't really have much direction, right? Like I just had the internet and myself, right? So I'm all self-taught, which is funny because I probably, it's I said before, I was talking to the mods at the Bitcoin Miami talking about my dad being a day trader. probably could have saved so much hassle for myself just asking my dad questions. But for some, for some reason, I like just never did. I don't know if it was like I wanted to figure it out on my own kind of thing. I don't know what it was, but uh, number one is honestly the quickest way to expedite your way to being a profitable trader is find someone who's doing it. And if you're lucky enough to know someone in real life and have a personal interaction with them, go talk to them and ask them questions. Pick their brain. Swallow your ego. Like, forget about your ego. Understand. Like, even me, like I said, like if someone gave me, someone messaged me randomly on Discord and gave me some advice, like, hey, I think you can improve your strategy by doing this, this, and that. I'm not going to go, I'm Frankie Candles, I'm the best, I'm not listening to you. I'm at least going to look at it and see what they say, right? Because you never know. Maybe that's a super smart person. Just because I'm on YouTube doesn't make me any smarter than anybody else, right? So what I would say is find a real person doing what you want to do. It's kind of goes for anything in life, honestly. Find a mentor. If you can't find a mentor, find somebody online that you trust, right? And even if it's not me, find someone that you like and trust, right? The most important thing is that you trust them. And like you said, if they're telling you that all they do is win trades, all we do is win, we never lose, run far away from those people. You want someone who's going to share the hard times, who's going to share the losses, who's going to, any real trader out there actually trading is going to tell you that you're not going to win all your trades, and losing is part of the journey. So, and not only part of the journey, but it's part of the successful journey, right? Like, I'm a profitable trader and I lose trades. I lost a trade the other day. I got stopped out at a small loss. But the key is that my winning trades are much, much bigger. So find someone doing what you want to do. Ask them questions. If you can't do that, find someone online. And most importantly, join trading discords, whether it's my Discord, your Discord. I don't know if you have one, anyone's Discord. Get in with the communities, right? Because, not only are you going to get access to the people that run the Discords like me or you, but you're also going to get access to other people who might be further along on their journey, right? They might have just finished getting wrecked and they finally figured something out, and they can help you avoid making those mistakes yourself.
How do you feel about, like, right now, the sideways trading we've been seeing? I know we were talking a little bit pre-show. We know there was nap time, what I like to call it, November to January, where it was like 15 to 17K. Everyone was like, Bitcoin's dead. We're sleeping on it. It's going to 10K. Then all of a sudden we popped through 20. Then it was just 2 months of 20 to 23K. And then we popped again, Frankie Candles. We were like, let's freaking go. We're mooning. And then it was 27 to 30K for the past 2 months. What is going on? How do you feel about it? When can we get this over with?
Yeah. So, I mean, do you want me? Can I share a chart?
Yes,
Do you want me to
please
share.
I will be so excited. Please share.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, let me go ahead and hopefully this is the right screen. Boom. Can you guys see that?
Yay. Perfect.
Beautiful. Okay, so basically what I'm looking for is, listen, I'm going to zoom out here because I was sharing this in my live stream yesterday, and I'll be honest, I am feeling pretty good. I mean, again, we were talking before the show, and I do think, for anybody out there wondering, I do think it is much more likely that the bottom is in than not. I listen. Now, there's a lot of really, 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 really smart people that think we're going lower, and I want to be very clear. We kind of just went over this, but I'm not one of those people that, like, I'm not just the bottom's in and I'm going to stick to that because I'm going to be right and I'm always right. I am very open to the fact, right? Like, I'm a technical trader, right? So if Bitcoin looks like it's going to start going for lower lows, like, I'll be the first person to tell everybody, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of really smart people that think we're going to lower lows. So, I'm not saying that they're 100% wrong. I could be wrong. But in my own opinion, and I'll show you exactly why I think this, I think people will find this valuable, is I do think the bottom did come in, right? I think it's much more likely that the bottom's in. And that happened at about $15,500. I do think that's the bottom. And it's for multiple reasons, right? And I'll actually go ahead. I'm going to share this chart that I showed on my live stream the other day, and I think it was last night. And this is essentially, I call it my cycle chart. And I've just measured out very interesting things, right? So I've measured out the how long it takes from the halving to the cycle bottom, and how long it takes from the all-time high of a cycle to the bottom. So just the time between the top and the bottom, and the time between the halving and the bottom, right? Just some interesting measurements. And when you look at this all-encompassing chart, right, looking at the different cycles, you have a cycle here, another 4-year cycle here, and then our current cycle right here. And when you start comparing these numbers, things are really, really interesting, because if you take a look at the halving back here in 2012, right, from the halving all the way to the bottom. It took about 777 days. I guess not to complete the whole cycle having to halving, but to complete the cycle of halving to the bottom, right? So you started down here, went all the way to the top, and then all the way to the bottom. It took 777 days. And then you come over to 2016, 2017, and you go from the halving to the bottom, 882 days, right? Almost exactly 100 days more. Then you come over to our current cycle, and if the 15.5 is actually the bottom, like I think it is, 924 days. So, they don't match up exactly, but they're very, very eerily similar, right? And on top of that, this is actually the even weirder thing. And I don't even want to say weird. I just want to say based off the 4-year cycles, if we're not going to see this 4-year cycle just completely shatter and change, I do think that we are likely, in somewhere, if you're looking at 2016, 2017, I do think we're probably somewhere within this area of the bear market where we kind of bottomed out, got a little bit of a rally, and then, we accumulated. We got an accumulation phase for almost a whole year. And if you go from the all-time high of this cycle all the way to the bottom, 413 days. All-time high of 2017 to the bottom of the bear market in 2018, 364 days. And if you're considering the actual all-time high being at 69K up here and not this first top, that comes in at literally 364 days, the exact amount of days that it took for 2017 to 2018 bottoms. So very interesting stuff. Yeah, so in my opinion, basically the moral of the story here for me is not only are we back above the 200-week moving average, which is this purple line right here, which is very, very bullish in my opinion. Not only are we back above that level, but enough time has definitely gone by for the 4-year cycle. Again, like our halving is right over here, right? I know this date is somewhat subjective to some people. I don't know. I always come up with different dates when I try to find out when the actual halvings are. But again, I mean, right now, from the halving that I have, we are only about, from where we are right now, 217 days away from the halving. And in 2017, if you go 217 days away, let's see, 207. Yeah, like somewhere right around here, right? So I do think it is much more likely that the bottom is in. 200-week moving average has been held as support. Enough time has gone by when comparing it to the 4-year cycle. And also another big thing that I look at is Market Cipher B, right? The money flow on Market Cipher B. I know you look at Market Cipher as well. Anytime the money flow is in the red on the weekly, right? This was the bottom of the bear market. If you bought the red money flow on the weekly, you would have bought the bottom of this bear market. If you bought the red money flow in 2018, you would have been buying the bottom of the bear market. And right now, we have red money flow on the weekly. Could we be accumulating at the bottom of the bear market? It looks like it's just lining up exactly how it has happened every single 4-year cycle.
Oh, sheesh. This is so interesting. I mean, seeing it like that, it definitely makes you think a little bit because, of course, none of this is financial advice, friends, but I do see some similarities where a lot of people, they're waiting like to the day of Bitcoin to do this or to the day of Bitcoin to do that, but that's where it gets you because it's never exact. It's maybe right around there, but it's always when nobody expects it. I mean, did you expect the move from 15 to 17K? Did you expect maybe a move down to 10 or were you like, okay, like maybe I feel like this could be the bottom based on what you saw previous and you were ready to just move up from there because we did and no one a lot of people were saying the opposite.
Yeah, I love this question. I was actually talking to Tony D about this the other day. I was looking at some old videos because my original bottom prediction, and my approach to this is I'm agnostic, right? Like I just look at the chart. If the chart says up, it's up, right? If the chart says down, it's down. And I am very much not tribal or emotional about it, which is how you should be as a trader. But for me, I'm very open about this, right? I thought that the bottom of this cycle, essentially what I was looking for here is, I'll go ahead and share my screen one more time.
Yeah.
Basically what I was looking for here was, looking at the weekly, I was essentially just, am I sharing?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So basically what I was looking at was for a retest of the previous all-time high at 20K, right? So I figured we'd come up, right? And then we'd cool off, find support on the between, my thing was, Mid to low 20s with a possible panic wick to 18K was my original bottom guess. So I figured we'd come down, find support on top of the all-time high of 2017, and then maybe some kind of a panic wick down to 18K. And it was looking, Miss Teen Crypto, it was looking real good for me. I was looking forward to those bragging rights. But then we wound up getting the dip down to 15.4. So I missed it. But I will say this, one of the things that I was looking for, and the reason why I was saying that this is likely, way more likely to be the bottom than not, is one thing I was looking for was a bullish divergence on the weekly time frame. And I have a video on my channel from way back in the day, talking about what I thought it might look like. And it wasn't 100% spot on because I thought we would go to 18K, not 15. But essentially what we were looking for was lower lows on our price action on the weekly time frame with our higher lows on our momentum waves on Market Cipher B, basically showing that price is pushing to the downside, but momentum is coming to the upside, warranting a correction to the upside. And that was, I think the name of the video was like something like top case for the bottom coming in or something like that. And really what I was looking for was that bullish divergence. So once we did come down to 15.5 and hung out around here for a little bit, and we printed this green dot, giving us that weekly bullish divergence, that's where I was like, hey, this might actually be the bottom. And then also looking at the weekly money flow, it all just looked like it was lining up perfectly. And just these structures, just these bottoming structures look very similar. Like I've been talking about this a little bit. Look at the U shape, this nice like rounded bottom structure here. We had a very similar structure here. And again, doesn't mean that the bottom is 100% in. Again, not financial advice. I could be wrong. We could get a black swan tomorrow and rip us down to 14K. Yeah, that's basically, I mean, just looks like a very similar bottoming structure. The weekly bullish divergence was big. But to answer your question in short terms, when we did come down to 15, once we didn't bottom at that $18,000 level and we came down to 15K, I did think, that's why this box is down here. I did think that we would come back down to this macro support to essentially retest the highs of this little fake out bull rally, because, we didn't hold support on this. So we did. I was looking for a potential move down to between 12 and 14K, but we didn't get it. And I'll be 100% honest. Everybody was calling for 100K in the bull run, and they never got it. And a lot of people are calling for lower lows, and I don't know if they're going to get it. And that doesn't mean that they're not going to get it. I just personally think there's a much better chance that the bottom's in.
Yeah, I feel like that as well because, I was looking and I remember saying this. I think it was actually like around the blockchain that I was saying it. And I was like, guys, 15K Bitcoin, I feel like a lot of these things are priced in because we had FTX collapse. It barely touched the market that much. We had so many things happen. So many people washed out. Who else could be next? Even if someone bigger went down at that point, like a Binance or a Coinbase, people wouldn't even flinch. They're like, I'm done with this. Like you could only go down for so long to the point where I guess there were no sellers on the market anymore at 15.5. People were just like, okay, like we got nothing here. And people were starting to load up at that point. And then the bank failure started to happen. And then people obviously were like, oh, sheesh, like this Bitcoin thing, that's what it's actually for, to protect us against this inflation bank thing. Okay, let me get in there. And I think that's kind of like where we're at now. And I think that'll continue to happen because bank closures are continuing to happen. The money printer is about to go burr. And I feel like all of that just leads back to Bitcoin and cryptocurrency.
Absolutely. And I think what you just said is really important because just kind of noticing that where you were saying, once FTX collapsed, like if something else goes down, like who's selling, like where are the sellers going to come from? And I think that makes a lot of sense. And again, like I said, like I'm a super technical trader. So that's the kind of stuff that I don't actually look into as much. I take it into account, but I don't look into it as much. And I had Garrett Soloway on my channel one time, and he made a really, really good point, kind of similar to what you just said. You get the FTX collapse, right? And it's interesting because I always try to find divergences between price and an oscillator like the RSI or Market Cipher. But he was showing me that you had the Celsius collapse, right? And price dropped. And then the FTX collapse is arguably even, much bigger than a Celsius collapse. But price was not really dropping dramatically more. I think it even dropped a little bit less, showing you almost a bullish divergence between news and price action. Like you're getting worse events that are supposed to be pushing price down, but price is just not reacting. And it kind of just, and you saying that just now, like where the seller's going to come from, kind of just reminded me of that, where it's like you can look at so many different things. Like that's a divergence between news and price action. It's like looking half at the charts, half at the news. And yeah, I think it's, and clearly, I mean, you were thinking that 15K was going to be the bottom. It's a great, it was definitely giving you some kind of good insight. So
Yeah, I just was looking at the macroeconomic scene of the world. I'm like looking at what people are doing. I was like, who's going to sell at this point? And you can even
yeah.
look at the volume because the volume wasn't even crazy at that point. The volume only started to pick up in January. And that's like right after the reverse, if you inverse Kramer, because Jim Cramer said on January, I think it was like second or third, and he was like, this is going to be a horrible year for crypto. And then Bitcoin went up 70%. So it just like goes to show, like, you could listen to anybody you want. It doesn't mean they're going to be correct. So you have to like do your own research, listen to people like Frankie and I, but do your own research, make your own decisions, have a bullish and a bearish case scenario, because a lot of the time things happen that just aren't expected. People didn't expect Bitcoin to go 70% for the new year and just be sitting sideways for 2 months at a time. No one would have predicted that. And I think you have to be like Frankie, like agnostic. You look at the charts, you look at the news, you look at the world, and you're like, okay, what makes sense right now? And I think that's just what a lot of people just learn with time in the market. And you're spending time in the market, Frankie. Now you have your own YouTube channel. So tell me, like, what was it like? When was your YouTube channel officially started? And what was your first video like? How did you feel doing that?
Yeah, so I love when people ask these questions, because this is like, I think it's probably a lot of people out there like curious. Like I would have loved to know, like even if it wasn't crypto YouTubers, like any YouTubers I watch, like I would love to know, like, whatever what Mr. Beast was doing when he was younger. I mean, I think he was a YouTuber forever, but
Yeah.
but yeah, like so yeah, I started my channel, I believe it was so I started it in uh January of last year, but I didn't upload my first video until February. And the first video I uploaded is unfortunately has not been updated. It is still my channel trailer, and it is super low energy, which is like an oxymoron. If you watch my channel now, I'm like known as as the energetic guy, but not in that video. You can go to my channel right now and see that trailer video, and I'm like, hey, what's going on, guys? It's really cringy, but that was one thing I was really nervous about. Like I was very confident in my trades. I was very confident in my technical analysis. I had no worries at all about that or sharing that with people at all. My biggest nerve came from being on camera. I'd never been in front of the camera. So yeah, that was like my biggest thing. And I went live. I think I put one video out. That was the channel trailer. And then I went live that same day. And that's when I found live streaming was like my thing, because I was much more comfortable. I mean, I would do pre-records too, but like when you're live streaming, like you have chat to lean on. And when I got in there and saw people in there like, hey, Frankie Candles, like this is cool, can't wait to see what your channel turns into, is like the most
Oh.
motivating and like coolest thing ever. And then like to see those people show up every day, like we were talking before the show, like people ask me if I get nervous ever, and I don't. I don't get nervous, but I do. I do get nervous. Like, you set up the live stream and I'm like, are people going to show up again? And then they pop in there and I could be having the worst day, right? Like I could have recorded 2 videos. They both got deleted. I wasted my whole day. I'm pissed off. I'm human. I have bad days. And then I, put my live stream up and I'm like, I can't believe that I have to go live for 2 hours right now. Like I'm in such a bad mood. And then boom, the first chat comes in, Frankie, let's go. I'm pumped for the live stream. And then it just completely flips me around. And it's my favorite part of the day. So yeah, it was, it's live streaming. Like really, I fell in love with it, just being able to talk live to the community. And yeah, my biggest fear was, or biggest worry was like just being in front of the camera. So.
Oh, I'm so happy you're like past that moment because you're doing great.
Thank
And
you.
I love coming to your live stream sometimes and just like chilling in there. And I comment once in a while and I'm just like, hello. And everyone's just so happy. And I feel like it's the same way like with my chat. Like everyone in here has so much synergy. I've been seeing so many candle emojis, heart emojis in here. It's insane. And I think like that's why like we just have like a lot of synergy. It's like the New York zest, just like a really positive. And I think people need more positivity. Sometimes you go on like these streams and someone's just like yelling at you like, rah, rah, rah. I don't want to get yelled at. I'm here to like have fun and learn about charts, learn about crypto, and going to the Candle Mafia, hanging out with you guys is always that good vibe. And I'm happy that you kind of like took your energy, gave it to the community, and now everyone's just like spreading this Candle Mafia, spreading the sauce, spreading the love. I think it's something that we need more of, and I love that you're doing education too. You a lot of people learn from you. I'm learning. I look at the charts. I love learning about the charts, and having someone like you that's always again positive, poppin', energetic. We need more of that. So thank you. I appreciate you.
Of course. I think it's important too, like, especially for creators, you know, like, it's like we're all on the same team, right? Like, and I love it. Like, all the people that we collaborate with, like our friends, our YouTube friends, are all so good to each other, always willing to help each other out. And we understand that we all grow together. And you know, and a big thing, like you said, for the education, like for me, like the main point of my channel is to provide what I was looking for at one point, you know, during my trading journey. And that's kind of what I base it off of. Like, I always wish that I could ask someone a question and see the YouTuber actually see the question and answer the question. That's why I'm so interactive with chat. And yeah, like, I just want to show people that, you know, like a lot of people, like, you don't have to buy a $5,000 course to be a profitable trader. Now, I have nothing against paid courses. I actually think they're very useful because it organizes the information, right? In order of what is important to learn first. It gives you structure, and it just gives you a nice, neat place to go learn from. So I definitely support, I think paid courses get a bad rap. Like, they're all scams.
I agree.
I disagree with them being scams because I've taken a course. I've taken online courses before, not for trading, but for other things like my video business, stuff like that. And I found so much valuable information in that stuff that would have taken me years to find. For sure, I could have found the information for free on the internet, but I would have to go find it, right? So as long as you trust the people you're getting your stuff from, you know, I have no problem with paid courses. But my whole thing is I try to give away as much as I possibly can for free, which some people might not like, other, you know, people who charge for everything that they give. But the real thing is here, like, I think a lot of people gatekeep, and like, especially on the internet, it's actually not bad in crypto. I feel like it's much worse in the stock with Forex world, that people try to gatekeep, and they think like, you have to take my course. This is so hard. Like, you have to watch my channel to get all the secret levels. Like, I show you how I find my levels. Like, I don't try to I try not to gatekeep, you know, a lot. Like, I really try to give as much as I can away for free, because I think it is, TA and trading is not as complicated. You know, first time you look at a chart, I know first time I looked at a chart, I was like, this is going to take me a long time to figure out. This is confusing. But it just looks more confusing than it is. I really want to push that. That's why I try to educate as much as I can on my channel.
Yeah, I agree, because a lot of people do courses for what I do, like all this, like, what is Bitcoin, what is blockchain. A lot of people like have these courses for it, and I support you 100%, bro. Have all them courses, but I just put it out because I think just getting the message out and just onboarding people is probably the most important thing. And I think especially
100%.
with technical analysis, it's very gate kept, and a lot of people, of course, have those paid courses. Go after it, get your paid courses. But at the same time, if there's someone that's gonna just offer that information and people are gonna absorb it, and it's like a positive, nice thing, I don't see a problem with it. And if you're happy giving the information, people are happy receiving it, then it shouldn't be a problem. I think the more you can onboard people into something like TA, that again is something so gate kept, the better. We need more people that learn about finance, more people that are able to trade the charts, except for the big people that are up there kind of controlling the markets, while the little guys like us don't get any education on this.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And
you
like
don't learn
said,
TA in school.
Yeah, right. And that's my thing too, is like, you know, with the courses, like I'll probably come out with a course at some point, but you could learn everything from my free live streams. But, you know, for the people that might want to expedite the process, or they want to spend some money and, you know, sit down for a week and just, you know, have everything in order, you know, that's, in my opinion, what you pay for courses. Because honestly, if you wanted to be a lawyer, you could go find all that information for free. But if you went to school and went through a program, it makes it a little bit easier. So I think that's really the value you pay for. But yeah, the gatekeeping is just, yeah, it's crazy. Sometimes I say stuff and I'm like, oh God, like there's probably so many people out there like, why are you telling them that, bro? But you know, we're here for the people, right?
Yeah, I think we're here for the people. And again, I'm not against paid courses at all. I think they're good. I think it's like a condensed, like it's like a textbook. Like, you know,
Yeah.
you have a nice little textbook. All right, I have my book, here are my chapters. This is what I can look at. This is what I can learn about this second. But being there every day and just like absorbing that information. And I think what the live streams are really helpful for is like it's live price action. Cause in the course, you're probably like, okay, here's the guy's like filming, okay, here's the chart right now. This is what we're looking for here. But you're doing like daily stuff like, oh, this is this level that just popped in. Let's see what could happen with this by this time. It's a lot more like flowy, and I like the flow. I like the flow a lot. And if you guys like the flow, make sure to smash these likes. Let's get to 150 before this live stream ends. I want to
Are we at
ask you.
100 yet?
We're at 134. I want to get
Oh, let's
150.
go.
Yeah, I want to
Let's
get
go.
150. I'm being a little greedy right now. And thank you,
Do
Tony,
it.
again for the super chats. Let's get after it. And a lot of you guys are subscribing, so thank you. I appreciate that. I want to ask you, Frankie, how do you feel about the future of crypto? Maybe in the next year or two, we got the halving coming up in 2024. I'm sure you're going to be back on the channel. I like absolutely love this live stream. But how do you feel like the next year in crypto, the next 5 years is going to go for us?
Yeah, I listen. I have never been more bullish on crypto in my life, and I'm sure anybody in crypto just gets more bullish and bullish long term as time goes on. But I mean, look at what we had a lot go on in the past year, right? Like we're actually seeing the cracks start to show in the traditional financial system. We're like. It's actually crazy because in the office, obviously at BitBoy Crypto, like we're surrounded by all crypto people, right? And we're all sitting there as the banks are going down. And, we're all sitting there and I'm like, okay, so you don't want to hold cash, right? Because your cash is melting, right? You don't want to keep your cash in the bank because the banks are going down. Where do you put your money? And we all kind of looked around at each other and we're like, it's time. Like, this is the time. Like, everything's falling apart and the answer's right in front of us, right? It's just never been more obvious. And I think as of right now, the only thing really holding back the floodgates for crypto actually exploding and us seeing the actual crypto bull run, like the bull run of bull runs, is really just the traditional system and the powers that be just not ready to let it happen yet. But they know it's inevitable. I think they know it's inevitable, but they're just not ready to let it happen right now. I think 2024, 2025, we're going to see another bull run. Now, I think it's close. Like the 2024, 2025 bull run, I do think it's coming in. I think everything is going to do real good. At least, maybe not everything. A lot of things are going to go to zero too. But, I think I think we're really teetering on this cycle or the next cycle being the regulatory bull run. And I think that regulatory bull run is going to make every bull run we've seen in crypto look like a little blip on the chart.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. Bitcoin's so fundamentally relevant. And I know someone in the chat said it was also time in 2008 when the banks collapsed, but Bitcoin was just created in 2008. How many people could have known about it at that time? There were barely any Bitcoin even mined at that time to spread around. So that's why Satoshi created Bitcoin. The Genesis block had the British newspaper, the Times headline where Chancellor on the second bailout for banks. So this is what we knew was going to happen. That's why Satoshi created it in 2008, 2009. That's why we're here now. So I think definitely you're correct. I think the next bull run is going to be absolutely wild. We're already seeing a whole washout of all of these crypto companies, bad actors in this past bull run. And we need that to happen for mainstream adoption. We need to get rid of all the bad tech, all the bad people, so that way we can start anew and start a beautiful revolution, because that's what this is a peaceful revolution. And I'm so happy that you're a part of it with me, Frankie Candles, and the Candle Mafia and the Zesty fam. So thank you guys for coming out here. Thank you, Frankie, for joining me today. Is there any message? Speak with your heart. It could be about New York sauce. It could be about BitBoy Crypto. It could be about YouTube. It could be about charts. It could be about anything. Speak from your heart. What is the message you would like to send to the family, and where can they find you?
So I will leave you guys with this. I will say, I put a tweet out the other day, and it was on crypto related, really. It was funny. Ben asked me to if I could bring his Lamborghini in because I had to get some work done, and he's like, his assistant was like, hey, I'm on the insurance, so they were like, hey, can you bring it in to get fixed or whatever? And I was like, no, I don't want to drive a Lamborghini. No, I'm kidding. I was like, of course, you don't have to ask me twice. I was like already like grabbing the keys out of her hand. But I drove it, and I took a picture in the Lamborghini, and I was like, shh, nobody tell Ben I'm taking his Lamborghini out for a joyride. But then I was like, no, in all seriousness though, I'll leave you guys with this. Be careful of being complacent, because I think it's the most dangerous thing that can happen to us. And in that tweet, I basically said, it's easy and comfortable to be the best person in your group, right? The best trader, the person with the most money, the most athletic, the strongest, the best basketball player on your team, whatever it is for you, it's really nice to be the best and be the number one guy. Like, I'm the best guy on my team. Like, and that's great. But understand that there's no more growth left for you there. And what I would recommend you guys do is surround yourself with people that are smarter than you, faster than you, harder working than you, richer than you, better trader than you, and have been doing whatever you're doing longer than you. If you don't feel like you're the worst person, if you feel like you're the worst person in the room, then there's the only place to go from there is up. I have to and I think a lot of people avoid that because they get jealous, right? Like, I don't want you to be better than me because then I'm jealous. Don't be jealous. Don't be jealous, but be envious, right? That's different. If you're envious, it's a positive admiration for what someone has or what someone is like. And jealousy has hate involved, right? So just be envious. Like, I walk past multiple of my dream cars every single day when I go into work, and the last thing I feel is jealous. I feel envious, and not only of the car, right? Like, I'm around people who are in positions to be like unimaginably generous, and that's what I envy is being able to be generous. And that's why that's why on my channel I like to give back as much as we can, because the thing that I envy is being generous. And I hope to one day be in the position where I can just just give away a ton of stuff. Like, I would love to do that on my YouTube channel, go from a crypto channel to a giveaway channel and just go give away stuff. So surround yourself with people who are better than you so you can grow, people that push you, not people that make you feel like you're the best. And it's a little hard to do, but I promise if you do that, you will grow. It's going to feel uncomfortable, but you will grow. And when you look back, you'll be like, wow, good thing I was the worst person on my team.
That is amazing. You can't surround yourself with yes men, because that's when you go downhill. You have to have people that will humble you. And thank God I have people in my life that will humble me in a flat minute. Thank you for coming, Frankie. I appreciate you. Where can everybody find you and follow you on the daily basis? Because you deserve to be followed and loved.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me on. This was awesome. Like, like I said, I feel like our communities mesh really well. We're a very positive community. So thank you for having me on. I had a blast. And yeah, you guys can find me on my YouTube channel, Frankie Candles, and I am Frankie_Candles on all socials. And I will be going live in about an hour. So yeah, thanks again for having me on.
That is beautiful. And you can also catch Around the Blockchain going live on BitBoy's channel, not BitBoy's channel anymore, Around the Blockchain YouTube channel right now in 3 minutes. So you guys could catch that. And at 6 o'clock, you could catch Frankie Candles on his channel. Make sure to sub, follow him everywhere. All the links are in the live chat, in the description. So don't miss out on that. Don't miss out on his live stream. Don't miss out on the sauce. Thank you guys again for coming. I hope you guys have a great day. I will see you tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern for the Daily Zest. If you have not yet, please make sure to smash these likes, subscribe, share the stream out with friends so more people know about the charts, the future of crypto, and of course the amazing story of Frankie Candles. Have a great day and have a lovely night. And as always, stay zesty. Peace.